Hi, Nick.
How you going?
I'm good, man. How are you?
We are back in the studio.
We are back. We're back live in the studio.
This feels a lot better.
It's nice this way, isn't it?
It's
nice.
Skyping is fun.
Skyping is fun.
Yeah.
Skyping is convenient.
But I sound tinny as hell.
Yeah, and we can't escape the pratfalls of technology, unfortunately.
Yes. Not just
but we are back with another episode of Tys and Videotape.
Hey, everyone.
It's episode number 66.
Route 66.
Yes. And we are so excited about tonight's episode.
Oh,
this is a film that we have talked about doing many times, and we've kind of put it off because we wanted to do it justice.
We did. And because of the last 2 episodes or 3 episodes,
we've done a few shit movies.
We've I feel we've let
movies.
our audience down a tad. But everyone's
that's not true. Actually, we did Ocean's 11. That was
awesome. That's true.
Maybe
that's
it's just last week. I can't see anything beyond last week. For our episode on Wild Wild West.
I believe there's only 2 other... There's us and one other podcast, which is called We Hate Movies, that have done Wild Wild West, and that is it.
The We Hate Movies guys are great, and
they are
very funny. I'm sure that would be an excellent episode. I don't recall. I should listen to it again and see if they picked up on some of the same shit.
No one's picking Wild Wild West. No one's picking that. But now that we've done that, we decided to pick...
something that we fucking love. We've gone for 1987's ROBOCOP.
ROBOCOP.
Yes, ROBOCOP. One of the formative films of my life. And I 100% believe that it has shaped so much of my movie watching.
And what I expect from movies.
And what I want from movies. Yeah. Not just what I expect, what I want.
Which is so good. And we'll get into that later, whether it be the director or whatever.
Before we do any of that, Nick, just tell the folks at home where they can find us.
Gang, you can... if you are listening to us, thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in.
That's lovely. Thank you.
Lovely.
But if you would like to follow us on social media, we are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can listen to our podcast on any other
all of
forum.
Them. You can find them on all of them.
You can find them on all of them. Yeah.
Just not Spotify.
Not Spotify, because...
we don't want to get sued. So we've got to be careful about that.
We've got to be careful about that one. But yes, and if you would like to write us a letter or an email...
if you would like to write us a letter...
That'd be lovely too.
That'd be sweet. That would be lovely. We're not going
nice.
we're not going to give you an address to send it to.
No.
But
good luck with that.
Write it and take a photo of it and then send it to us so that we saw that you made the effort.
That's true. That'd be lovely. But yes, an email at nicktysonvideotape@gmail.com.
That's correct.
I spell Nick without a K and Tys is Tys.
That's it. But before we get into it, I'm sure will be a pretty fucking exhaustive,
blood-filled
conversation. Should we talk some trailers?
Let's talk some trailers.
Everybody's talking trailers.
All right.
Here we go. Here we go.
There was let's start at the bottom and then go work our way to the top.
Sure. Look, it wasn't a super busy week.
It wasn't, no.
A couple of interesting things that I saw. Some Netflix originals that looked a little bit interesting. But we're going to try and stay away from the Netflix originals because I feel like there's a 5 a week. Yeah. And I can't keep up with that. But there were some that I found kind of interesting and I might tune into.
Yeah. There was a few docos that were new.
Yeah.
But
a lot of interesting kind of looking sci-fi related stuff, which I'm interested in. And that's kind of... Are we going to talk about that one, or we decided we weren't?
No, we're not.
We're ditching that one.
No, we're ditching that
so there are a couple of good sci-fi ones worth looking at as well. But what we are going to talk about, Nick, why don't you go for it? Because I've already forgotten which one we said we would talk about.
Oh well, let's start with Creed 2.
In the ring, you got rules. Outside, we got nothing. Life hits you with all these cheap shots. People like me, we live in the past. You got people that need you now. You got everything to lose. This guy's got nothing to lose.
I ain't got a choice.
That's the same thing your father said, and he died right here in my hands. Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
But you don't think I could beat him?
I got loyalty.
I was afraid I couldn't live up to these expectations.
I got loyalty inside my DNA.
You don't think you got your validation?
I got loyalty inside my DNA. I got peace, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA.
I want to rewrite history.
Okay.
Let's start with Creed 2.
You call that starting at the bottom?
Well, for me it is. For you, Tys, it's at the top.
Well, this is... I mean, I'm fucking pumped, man.
And in saying that, and in watching this trailer made... Because I've watched Creed 1, but that's only because it was nominated for an Oscar.
Sure.
Right? But the reason so I watched this because I knew Tyson would want to talk about this. It's a sports film. It's right up his alley. and he is a fan of the Rocky movies, as is everyone else. Now,
I'm a massive fan of the Rocky films. So this is
right up
this
there.
Is
for Tyson.
This is a vent film for me.
Yeah. For me, not so much. But what this trailer did, Tys, is really made me want to. It just lit the fires again of, Nick, you have to watch the Rocky movies.
I'm glad it did.
And this was a nice trailer. This was a really nice trailer.
It's funny because I think I almost didn't want them to make a sequel to Creed because I thought it felt really kind of like the same way Rocky Balboa just felt like a really nice bookend to the series. Creed just kind of felt like a nice one-off, like a little spin-off that just kind of gave us a new perspective of this character and introduced a new character, and I didn't want it to be another series, like, because I feel like that would be...
That's done already.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a new generation,
but it is. Maybe it's a series for a new generation.
The next Karate Kid, maybe.
It could be the next Karate Kid.
I was referencing the...
Or the actual next Karate Kid with Hilary Swank.
Yes, that's what I was referencing.
Hopefully the Rocky series doesn't get to that stage.
Yeah, fair deal.
This looks really interesting.
This looks intense.
It does look intense. I think they're going it's funny. I mean, there's no way to do a boxing movie anymore without being able to find a comparable Rocky film.
Yeah.
Like that, because they pretty much covered all the storylines that you can out of a boxing drama in the Rocky series.
Yep.
You know, he had the rising from nothing, he had the fall from grace, he had the death of the best friend, he had all spoilers of course. It had the getting back in touch with the street level. It was
the old man comeback.
Yeah, and so it's kind of done them all.
Yeah.
This looks like it's going to be pretty similar to Rocky 3. I want to say.
Okay.
Which was that's the similarities that I'm seeing so far, which is the fall from grace kind of the guy who has achieved the championship now and is challenged on a level that he is not prepared for.
Yeah.
And
can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
Did he win last time? Did he win?
He won, yeah.
He won, okay.
Yeah.
See, this is... It just
What's funny is because it didn't matter if he won or lost.
Right.
But he did win. Yeah.
He did win, okay. And the reveal in this for me, like I knew it was a reveal because of I know how trailers are put together,
sure.
but that meant nothing. I don't know who that is.
Well, and this is obviously... I mean, I don't...
Is it Dolph's son?
Yeah, so do you know enough about the series to know how it all went?
No.
Like, well, because you've seen Creed, so you knew obviously that his father died.
Yes. I knew that, but that's it.
Do you know who it was?
It was Action Jackson, wasn't it? Was it Action Jackson?
Yeah, that's who played Apollo Creed. Yeah, Action Jackson. Yeah, you're right. So Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
Do you know who killed him in the ring, though?
Oh no, he was killed in the ring.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
so
spoilers, man. That's okay. That's okay. My own fault.
Well,
they came out in the 80s.
Then this trailer, the effect might have been lost a little bit because. And this doesn't ruin the movie.
No.
I think you might be the only person in the universe that doesn't know how Apollo Creed died. I actually think we've found that one person.
I am that one person, and I have a movie podcast. That's hilarious.
The reveal that happens when you see that he's fighting someone named Drago is because Drago is the character that killed Apollo Creed in the ring.
Right.
And this is his son. So this film is becoming a kind of... it makes it more like a family kind of pride bout than anything else. And I remember when I first heard that he was going to be the villain, that it was going to be Ivan Drago's son, I was like, oh God, is every film going to just be an echo of a Rocky film? But having watched the trailer, I actually think it's a smarter idea than it sounds like on paper. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think
it really, and they've sold it. They're
selling it really well because they are trying to include that idea that it's he's trying to make it about his father as opposed to himself.
Yeah.
And that's a dangerous way to think, like about thinking about your family legacy and how that affects your own legacy. Like, what kind of responsibility do you have as a son?
Especially because you're going down the same route as your dad.
Exactly.
The same career path. And especially because boxing or any sport, whatever it be, if your father is a legend, then filling those shoes comes with a lot of weight.
And they actually do deal with that a little bit in the Rocky series itself. With Rocky's son. Like, he's never a fighter, but especially in Rocky Balboa, he has these quite lovely conversations with him about how he could never, escape the shadow of the Italian stallion.
Yeah,
like everywhere he goes, it's you're the kid of Rocky.
Yeah.
And so they do they've always kind of dealt with these relationships. which I think is kind of good. I think that's going to extend nicely into this because it's going to force. God, what's his name? It's
Apollo Creed.
No, that's the dad. Adonis. Is it Adonis?
Stuff to find. Adonis
Creed.
Yes, you're correct. Yeah.
So it's going to force him to really find the personal strength again, which I think the first movie did so well. You can get lost in that kind of like, oh, it's just, he's just the best in the world now, which the Rocky films dealt with really well. In the third film, they stripped him away completely to nothing again. They made it, they made it really obvious that he couldn't maintain the level of success that he had gained.
Yeah.
And how do you rebuild from that?
Yeah.
And that's what I think this movie is going to look at as well. That whole idea of there is someone here that you are not as good as. Yeah. And so you have to find the personal strength in order to achieve your greatness again.
Yeah.
But by adding in that dimension of it being the family legacy, it makes it harder because then what is he fighting for? Is he fighting for himself or is he fighting for the memory of his father?
Yeah.
I'm all about it. I think it's going to be really... I'm really excited to see it.
I'm going to watch Rocky. I will.
I would love you to watch Rocky.
Is there 4 of them?
There are
five,
there's
including,
five and then Rocky Balboa. So there's 6.
5 including Rocky Balboa.
No, 5.
6,
then
Rocky Balboa. Who plays Rocky's son? Is it Hayden Christensen?
It's not. It's another name.
Is it a Glee
blast from the past?
member?
No, it's Milo Ventimiglia from Heroes, and he's now in that This Is Us TV show or whatever it is.
I watched Heroes. Who was he in Heroes? Which power did he have?
The main guy, Peter Petrelli.
Oh, right. Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, yeah, he's quite good in Rocky Balboa. It was actually played by his real life son, who unfortunately passed away.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Slide's had a bit of a rough run.
Oh, dude. Shit. Michael B. Jordan is just starting on this massive streak that he's hitting, I feel. And
I think he's going to be like an all-timer. I don't think he's just the hot kid at the moment.
No.
I really do
he's
think he's going to
plant
go
his feet and really make some... Yeah. I was having a conversation with someone at work. Would you prefer Michael B. Jordan be the king of Wakanda? Would you have preferred a switch? Do you think
that he could have played Black Panther?
Played Black Panther?
Oh, but I just think he was so great as Killmonger. Like he had so much fucking like swagger about himself that he made it so interesting to watch him as a villain.
Yeah, because it wasn't just a revenge thing.
Away.
Like
no.
he built up. Like it was. You could see the years. Not to talk about superheroes. Sorry, guys, but. You could see the years in him, how he's just welling up inside and he just let it loose. Like
I think, look, I mean, I'm not saying he's a limited actor at all, but I think what he does, he did Killmonger a lot better than I think he would do T'Challa. T'Challa, not Chitala. T'Challa.
Yeah.
Because I don't think regalness, that kind of calm regalness doesn't come naturally to
very
him.
True.
He's the kind of guy you unleash at a party and he fucks shit up. Yeah. That's his kind of energy, I think, and he does that really well. Yeah. In that movie.
The fact that he was wearing like chains when he taken the throne, basically, I was like, he
was blinged up.
This is so out of place, but it works so well.
Yeah. He's something else in that movie. This is not. It's funny. It's not directed by Coogler, and it's not directed by Stallone either.
Which I'm glad.
Who I think initially was going to direct it. Yeah. But he does have a story by and screenplay credit. I don't know.
Is that just for characters though?
I know. I think he's actually written the screenplay as well, or at least did a draft, and then someone else has come in. But
I'm not a fan of Stallone's directing.
It depends what film it is. I think he can direct really well.
Did he direct Last Man Standing? No, that wasn't him, was it?
No, that was Walter Hill.
Dude, seriously, get your shit together.
Sylvester Stallone's direction career, I jump back and forth from, because I think sometimes he directs just because it's easier for him to direct.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think the Expendable movies could have been a lot better had someone else written them and directed them. Well, I think they could have been really boss.
Did he only direct the first one? I feel like he only directed the first one.
He only directed the first one.
Which is not the best of them in any way. No. I think Rambo is pretty great. I think Rocky Balboa is pretty great.
Yeah.
And because Rocky 3 is my favourite Rocky, I'm kind of like, so...
Oh, okay.
I'm okay with
Rocky
him
3 is your
as a
favourite
director.
Rocky.
Yeah, I think it might be.
I'm going to watch the Rockies. That's it. It's done. I'm going to watch it.
Look, I mean, this is what I mean. I actually thought he directed more than this, to be honest.
That's what I thought as well.
Yeah. So I think I might have it in my head that he's directed just at least more of every one of the series that he's been in, but it's just the Rockies that he's directed a lot of.
I thought he directed Driven. Oh, no, that was Rennie Harlan.
I would have said Driven too, to be honest. I haven't seen
any Rambos either.
You're missing... See, this is funny, man. Stallone.
You know why?
You missed the entire boat on Stallone.
Exactly. No, I did it on purpose because when I was a kid, you were either Stallone or you were Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, it's a good point.
I was Schwarzenegger all the way. I've seen Stay Hungry, and it's shit. And I've seen that,
That's a good point.
But yeah, I'm now going to do the Stallone.
I think it'll be really interesting because I'd love to know if the Rocky films connect on a first viewing for people.
Yeah.
Because for me, I can't help but bring a lot of nostalgia and a lot of history to my watching of them.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why they affect me so much when I watch them.
Yeah.
So I'd be really interested to know from a first time viewing because they are really old-fashioned, especially the first two. They're really slow. There's very little boxing. Right. It's really like the first one is just
more of a drama.
all about character drama.
Yeah.
And they get more ridiculous as they go on. But by the time you get to Rocky 4, I'm so on board with the Rocky character that I don't care that it's a ridiculous fucking basically a music video of fight training and stuff. Like I don't care. I'm just happy to be hanging out with Rocky.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'd be really interested to know.
Who does he fight in Rocky 5?
Rocky 5, he fights Tommy Gunn.
Tommy Gunn.
Who is his protege. So he finds this kid that he wants to train, and then they split.
The Jedi becomes the apprentice.
Pretty much.
Or the master.
Yeah.
Or however you want to say it.
It is quite like that. And then it becomes a...
cool.
Yeah. Rocky 5 is not a good movie.
No, bring it on.
It's got stuff in it.
Do I have to watch Balboa?
Balboa's like one of the best of them.
Whoa.
Yeah. Balboa... is exceptionally good. Balboa also has, and I'm not trying to build it up too much, but it has the best shot and directed fight sequences of the series as well.
That's nice.
He makes you feel it. That's one of the things that I think the Rocky films don't always do fantastically well.
Yeah.
Is the actual fight boxing. They tend to find ways around.
Yeah.
And so it's very montagey. And I mean, you have to do it that way. Yeah. And there's moments in every fight. Like they're really good at structuring a narrative through the fight, but sometimes you want it to be a little bit more exciting. Rocky Balboa, though, it's whatever. He does something in it and he makes the fight mean so much more than just the fight.
Yeah.
And that's all through the way that they edit and direct the fight sequence.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's
a history of Rocky by Tyson.
Seriously, I could talk about the Rocky films for days.
Moving on.
We should move on. So that's Creed 2 anyway.
Creed 2, yeah. Creed 2.
Clearly, you can see how excited I am because I just spent
15 minutes.
Yeah, about 15 minutes talking about the Rocky films.
And that's fine. Let's do this because this next trailer that we're going to talk about, starring Steve Carell and directed by Robert Zemeckis, is called Welcome to Marwen.
What is all of this?
The world-famous Marwen, Mark's art installation.
So that's the guy.
Yeah, it's right up there. Some Nazi thugs jumped him. It's a miracle he survived.
I was a hell of a good artist, and now I can barely write my name. So my dolls have to tell the story.
At your service, mademoiselle.
I just moved in across the street. I love all the details. Who are they?
They are Nazis torturing Hoagie.
Why?
Because he's different. The women of Marwen protect me.
You are safe.
A toast, just for you.
Are all of the dolls people you know?
Yeah. Everyone has a place here in Marwen.
I just moved in across the street.
So are you going to go to the sentencing?
You're a suffering human being. I want these guys to get more than just a slap on the wrist. It's important that you're there to look your assailant straight in the eye.
I'm not really sure how to do this.
Which is an odd title, would you say?
Yeah, well, I mean, it obviously has context to the story.
Yes.
I was a bit not interested in watching this trailer when it first came out. I was kind of like,
I don't think I want to watch this
trailer.
Yeah. And then in watching it, go.
Yeah, well, this is it. I kind of thought, well, we probably want to talk about it. To be honest, I got put off by the puppets. I was like, no, really? I don't want to see like a stop motion Robert Zemeckis film. I'm not interested in that. And to be honest, I'm a little disappointed that he's gone pretty heavily with the CGI with the
little puppets,
models and stuff. Sometimes they look really sometimes they look really great, and then other times it's like, oh man, feel like I'm watching Small Soldiers.
Yeah. Kirsten Dunst, I love you. Yes, that's true. But this is, as far as storylines go, to think this up. This is I love a story like this. I feel we don't get these anymore, and I think we should have more of them. This is a man dealing with the fact that he got hospitalized by 5 guys and is finding a way to deal with that through dolls, because he used to be an artist.
Yeah.
And now, because he can't draw, he takes photos of these little caricatures who he's made up as real life people who he knew.
Yeah.
And they're giving him the strength to move forward in life. This looks awesome to me. Yes, I do agree with you that some of it I'm like, oh, Small Soldiers. Oh, that's really bad. But then again, I think...
it's funny. I think I like the idea so far a little bit better than the execution appears at the moment.
Yeah.
I like it enough to give it a go.
Yeah.
I think I'm funny about Zemeckis at the moment.
I don't actually... Yeah, go.
Well, because I can't really say that I've been a full-fledged supporter of his most recent output.
I think he was lightning in a bottle with Back to the Future, and then that's it. I don't actually like anything else. Castaway is all right. Forrest Gump is very... it's a generic film for me. Like, it doesn't...
Yeah, I quite enjoy Forrest Gump. I've got no issues with Forrest Gump. I know it's an easy film. I don't think it's as good as it's perhaps history has made out to be, but I still think it's pretty enjoyable. I'd say I did enjoy Flight. I thought Flight was okay, but I'm not interested in this CGI motion capture Zemeckis kind of idea where everything is like.
So he's done like the Christmas Carol and Beowulf and Polar Express.
Beowulf was fine. It was pretty bad actually. Yeah. But so that stuff I don't really care about.
Yeah, pass.
So I don't know. I'm being a bit, I'm hedging my bets on this one a little bit. I think like I said, I think the concept looks really interesting. I think it has danger of being like Secret Life of Walter Mitty kind of.
Oh, okay.
Sweetness, maybe a bit too over the top in that. Maybe it's kind of it's going for a heartwarming vibe that it doesn't quite earn. You never know; it may earn it.
He did Romancing the Stone. I love that movie.
Yeah, he had a good run.
That's not too bad. Yeah, see, 80s, sure.
Even Contact, man. I think Contact is pretty great.
I prefer Death Becomes Her.
Oh, Death Becomes Her is pretty fantastic.
Fucking awesome. But no, I want to give this a go. This is I kind of like this because we talk about how there aren't movies that you watch with your mum. This you would watch with your mum.
Yeah, no, you're right. It does look like something you'd take your mum to.
Yeah, like you don't have those movies anymore,
Maybe we all need just a good, warm, heartfelt film.
Exactly.
Because I don't really see trailers for that kind of stuff anymore. Like everything, it's either like indie twee heartfelt, where it's kind of like
aimed at teenagers and
even just 20-year-olds and hipsters. Like it's this weird thing where sincerity. It's hard to kind of just accept sincerity for what it is without looking at it through kind of like a slightly ironic kind of viewpoint where everyone tries to stay this side of cool. Like it's like, oh yeah, we're being really sincere, but we're not being like, we don't want to be too over the top because we'll lose the ironic lovers who are like, oh, this is so ridiculous.
I love Garden State. It's so badass. Fuck off.
Well. And I mean, Garden State now, that's a great example of something that I think tried to be sentimental in an honest way, but because it was so concerned about being cool at the same time, it's now... I mean, it's so dated. Like, it's so... Like, I think there's stuff in Garden State that works really... Yeah, exactly. I really enjoy parts of Garden State.
Yeah.
But there's just stuff in it that's unbearable now.
What the fuck?
So maybe something like this where it's just unabashedly... sentimental.
Yeah. I think the last movie that had this much heart and what we're talking about is maybe Lars and the Real Girl. I think that was kind of more a heartfelt feeling.
I think that actually achieved something. I think almost by chance. That I think it was just so put together that it ended up being, because if Lars and the Real Girl didn't work as well as it did, it would end up being hipster nonsense.
Yeah.
Because that's essentially what Ryan Gosling is doing in that film.
Yeah.
He's dressed up in his little high fucking collared sweater,
and he's
got his dirty mo happening, and it's a love story about a sex doll. Like it's that kind of high concept where it could be seen as hipster nonsense.
Yeah. Do you know what's hipster nonsense to me is what's the Fassbender where he has a mask on the whole movie?
Frank.
That is hipster nonsense to me.
I have not seen that movie.
Neither have I. But I won't watch it because...
No, there is... And look, there's a potential for movies like that to work if they can overcome it. If they can... Because if you go into it saying, okay, this is a silly concept, one for the hipster crowd where they can be like, oh, have you seen this whole movie? He wears a mask the whole movie. He wears a fake coat the whole movie.
Yeah, it's totally awesome.
But
what are they, clove cigarettes? Yeah, can I have one?
Exactly. And if it overcomes that, suddenly it becomes something more. More often than not, the film doesn't overcome that kind of that it's like it's set up its own kind of glass case that the film is afraid to break out of, and when the films that do break out of that are the most effective ones.
Yeah, this
one doesn't need a case. This one is just straight up going no.
We are what we are.
As fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna have fucking rehab scenes where he can't walk, and then someone tells him that it's inside you all along.
Exactly.
Like we're gonna have he's going to fall in love with somebody,
exactly.
the sweet lady who moves next door, who sees past his problems and can help him overcome his problems and his strength, find his strength again, all that kind of stuff.
I want those.
There's a place. There is a place for those movies.
Exactly.
There absolutely is. And look,
hey man, I don't smoke clove cigarettes. Instead, I chew chewing tobacco. Fuck off, dude.
That must be starting soon, isn't it? Yeah, I chew tobacco. Do you have a spittoon?
But I would see this. I'm going to see this.
Okay.
I'm going to give it a shot.
I probably won't.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, you're going to be too busy watching Creed 2 for
the
a
14th
third time.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, that's it. Talkin Trailers.
There it is.
Welcome to Marwin and Creed 2.
That's all we're doing this week.
That's all we're doing.
Because we want to save enough time
to just talk some batshit crazy Verhoeven.
So maybe it's our time for a feature press.
Let's do it.
And now for our feature presentation.
Sayonara, RoboCop. Let's do this.
All right.
Tyson.
Here we are.
RoboCop.
It is time.
Okay, so you mentioned it a little bit before, Tyson. How old... Because we've talked about this. We watched this a little too young. How old were you when you watched this?
I couldn't tell you exactly how old.
Okay.
But it is one of those films that I have a distinct memory of watching as a young person. Like that it was one of those movies. I put this in the very similar kind of pile as Predator.
Yep.
And Commando.
Decent. Love it.
And this...
Predator, Commando.
I'm trying to think.
Terminator. Terminator 1.
I actually saw Terminator... I did see Terminator 1 before Terminator 2, but very, because I didn't see Terminator 1 at the cinemas. I was too young.
Yeah, no.
So when it came, I had seen Terminator by that point, but I think I watched it because I knew I was about to watch Terminator 2. So,
did you go to see Terminator 2 at the cinema?
No, I'm saying I didn't.
Oh,
So when it was on video...
Whoever saw Terminator 2 at the cinema, by the way, I fucking hate you.
Yeah, it would have
That's
been
awesome.
a great time.
Jesus Christ.
When I was about to watch Terminator 2, I think I watched Terminator 1.
Oh, okay. I remember this being on TV a lot. This movie, even though it was cut to the shit, because back in the day, kids, before Netflix and Stan and all that, me and Tyson and everyone else our age had to wait for it to be on TV. We'd look in the TV guide and go, oh my God, RoboCop is coming on this Friday.
And that's a big part of it, I think.
We'd come home... It'd 8:30 start. You'd start watching it, and all the swear words would be cut.
Yes,
and all the violence would be cut.
Well, there was still even then I knew it was one of the most violent movies I'd ever seen.
Yeah,
I knew it even at that point. So the cuts that they made, because this is the thing: if you cut the violence and the swearing out of this movie, it goes 44 minutes.
We've got no movie.
We got nothing. So. Stuff like when Emil gets melted by the toxic waste.
Yeah.
I that's been in my head since I was a child.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty gross image. But it's inbuilt into my brain. Like, it's inbuilt into my memory.
So
this
gross.
Kind of...
Toxic waste, man.
Oh, man. But just I knew that RoboCop was pushing boundaries, even as,
really?
fucking 6 or 7-year-old kid watching it. I knew that it was trying to do something with violence. Like, it was trying to go to push to extremes. And I probably, obviously, saying I didn't understand why, but I knew it was going for it. It was really upping the ante in the violence, and it was trying to do that for a purpose. I knew it wasn't just, oh man, some action movies can be this fucking violent.
All right.
Like,
I thought that this was what all adult movies were like. They were this violent.
Sure.
That's what I thought.
Sure.
All of them, because going from like you said, watching Predator and watching Blaine in Predator get burst open like that, and you see that. So you don't see him, but they move his body a bit, and you see that he has a hole the size of a football in his chest. That on top of that, with all the stuff that we see in RoboCop, because I eventually hired it down the line from the video store and saw it all in its entirety with all the cut.
Yeah,
and I just thought this was the norm. I thought that all action movies of the 80s or of that time were this violent and badass.
I didn't see the uncut version until probably 5 or 6 years ago, I want to say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The uncut you're talking about?
The uncut.
Yep.
So for me, it was because I know for a fact you couldn't see it before 2001-ish anyway. Yeah. Maybe even a little bit later, yeah. So there was no way to see it before then, for us anyway, because,
no.
I mean, the version you rented from the video store was the cut.
Theatrical cut.
Yeah, it was the theatrical cut. And so even in the first couple of DVD releases, it was the theatrical cut. And then we finally got, and I think it might be the DVD that you had. I think I might have rented that that version, these definitive editions that had the double disc. I think that might have been the first way I saw the extended cut.
Right.
Fuck. And it was mind-blowing.
Yeah.
To see, like,
because had this cut been at the cinema, is this what people saw?
No, so this was there. This is when it was initially submitted. It did not receive a rating. They were going to rate it an X, which meant it would only show, like, you had to be 18 to get in.
Yep.
And cinemas would not show an X-rated film. Like, this is back in the day where cinema chains have the power in that, and would just say, well, I'm not, because I can't put RoboCop on a marquee next to fucking, I don't know, Fateful Goes West or whatever came out. Yeah. Like, I can't do it. I can't have a big fat X rating underneath the title next to where people are bringing their families. So it would have completely fucked them.
If you did, you were a fucking rogue badass.
Going rogue.
Seriously.
So they're having to cut it down to the R rating in order to just at least get it into the cinemas that are required. Yeah. And look, the cuts that they make aren't... I don't think they dramatically change the film. I think it manages to keep the tone pretty consistently. The violence is still used in the same manner in the theatrical cut.
Yep.
It just ups the ante a little bit, and it makes stuff, especially like the Murphy death...
The crucifixion.
More intense.
Yeah.
And you feel it more, like you feel his pain more, and that's one of the things.
It's just holding the camera on just a little bit longer, and so in that it's more violent.
Yeah, and his reactions to it as well. Because we miss some of those reactions. We get to we miss some of the brutality of the villains as well, because they are so just gleeful in the way that they just fuck him up.
Obliterate.
Yeah, like, and so there's elements there that I think it actually benefits the movie.
Yeah.
I think, look, and as much as the violence, I don't have a huge problem with cinema violence. I've never really have. There are certain things that get me, and I kind of cringe a little bit.
Yep.
There are certain shots in films that I think, that got me to that level.
Yeah.
This is one of the only films of the 80s action sci-fi kind of ilk that give me even a little bit of a kind of
really?
Like I felt that. Oh, okay. I feel the Murphy stuff.
Okay.
You have little moments where it's just like, that is brutal.
It's full on. Yeah. It does its job. It really does.
Oh, absolutely does its job.
I love this movie.
But if we're going to talk about the violence, why don't we talk about the violence fully now?
All right.
Is that I think the violence is necessary though to the movie.
Yes.
Because
I don't think this movie works without the violence.
No. Verhoeven's really clearly trying to make a statement about the way we view violence as cinema goers, I think.
Yeah.
He's trying to fuck with us.
Yeah.
He's trying to say, hey, you like watching guys get shot up in action movies?
Okay.
I got something to show you.
It's fine.
And
exactly.
He's trying to make us like...
He's trying to push it to the...
He's pushing it to the extremes. Like, at what point... And, the level that the level that this movie works entirely as satire or... even comedy is dependent on how much you want to view those elements, I think. I think you can watch this as a straightforward action sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
I think you can watch it as a social satire, and I think you can watch it as a black comedy.
Yeah, sure.
If you're choosing to watch it as a social satire, I think the violence is super important to that. And it's not just the violence itself, it's the way that people in the film react to the violence as well.
Oh, it's just everyday for them.
It's
almost.
totally everyday.
Seriously everyday, which sets the tone so well for this thing, in that this is what their world is like. And I love that in saying what you said, like with Verhoeven showing us where that line is, or bringing us right up to us right up to that line. We are seeing, because Verhoeven isn't for me, this movie is a director, because I don't think this movie could be, if this is directed by someone else, it's not going to work, no matter who takes to this.
You can say that about a couple of Verhoeven films that I just don't think work without his touch.
Yeah.
Most obviously, I think Starship Troopers.
Yeah, that didn't work at all without anyone else.
It would not work in a million years. It would be a Sci-Fi Channel original piece of shit with anybody else helming it.
It would be
and to a lesser extent,
shit. Yeah.
Total Recall.
Yeah.
Although Total Recall, I think, is a little bit less focused on some of the things that Starship Troopers and ROBOCOP are very strongly focused on.
Yeah. But this is...
And we see that in the fucking terrible remake of Total Recall, and we'll get to it later, the terrible fucking remake of this film.
Sorry, what I was going to say before is because you're seeing what Paul Verhoeven sees in America from an outsider of that time. Now that has kind of still finger on the pulse. This is what the world has become, and it's still looking from the outside. No. You'd like the consumerism to the max. You like the violence to the max. Then you're going to see everything.
Well, I mean, it was kind of. I guess it's a bit of a crystal ball, really. What he ended up doing. He was watching the films coming out of Hollywood in the 80s, and this kind of. A celebration of excess, basically. Everything was like...
Everyone was muscle-bound.
Yeah,
everyone
exactly.
was huge.
And so he's obviously gone in and gone, all right, well, I'll give you what you want then, I guess, and we'll see if you really want it. But it's really funny is that he has kind of now, when you watch this now, it has kind of become a bit of a crystal ball, because he really did kind of... I mean, it was happening then, but it's obviously happening to a greater extent now, the idea that you can, privatize police, for instance, even... Just the way corporate culture works, that kind of that real cutthroat mentality.
And buy whatever they like. Yeah, totally.
And even I love how Bob, just straight up sees one of his mates shot up to shit in a board meeting, and then straight after with his other man is just like, oh, shame about what's his fucking face,
and he goes,
what does he
life
say?
In the big
life
city.
In the big city, exactly. Like there's just such this dismissive nature of the violence that they're surrounded by.
Yeah, he's like, oh well, that's
just how it is,
that's
man.
OCP.
Yeah, that's it.
Fucking Jesus.
And it's like it's such a it really is that whole idea that we did become very desensitized to violence, and I think we still are. And I've just proved the point before by saying that violence in films doesn't really get to me anymore. Like
exactly.
I can watch hideously violent action movies, laugh it off with popcorn and a Coke, like...
Yeah. It's very different for me. There is violence that gets to me, but it's, I would say, domestic violence. That's the violence to me that's gonna... I can't watch this anymore. I can't. Yeah.
No, of course. And look, if I'm watching a really intense kind of horror thriller about someone, like if it's something... I don't like watching really dark, dank serial killer movies where it's just, or torture porn, for instance.
Yeah, see, I can take them. I don't mind. That I can sit with a Coke and popcorn and go, he got his head off. That I don't care.
Do you know what it is to me? It's the reaction. It's what the movie wants us to feel during it.
Yeah.
If the movie is approaching a death, and the reason why I don't like torture porn is not because of the violence itself. It's because of the insistence of the suffering.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean? So when I have to sit there and watch a young person, I don't know, just basically just crying and screaming and having their eyeball slowly pulled out of their fucking socket, and we just have to sit and watch it happen. I don't have any enjoyment for that. I don't take anything from that. That's that kind of violence. And it's not because of the act itself. It's because of the suffering of the person.
Yeah.
Because it makes that gleeful. Do you know what I mean? It makes you kind of sit there and you think, why am I watching this person suffer like this? Am I taking enjoyment out of this? And there are films that it can be very powerful to witness someone suffering.
Yeah.
But
they use it in a way where it helps the film, not just the act itself. Is that what you're saying?
It's not just, it's not using the act to exploit your emotions as a viewer.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
But so in this case, or in 80s action case, death is meaningless.
You see so many henchmen just get blown the fuck away. And we're talking blown away. Like, there are blood packs. So many blood
we're
packs.
so used to this as a culture, as a Hollywood culture, that it's really funny that I think a lot of people can watch RoboCop and miss it all. Miss all that social context completely and just be like, wow, this fucking movie's so brutal. I fucking love it. And just have a really good time. And I can actually watch it in both ways. Do you know what I mean? And that kind of, I don't know what that says about me, but I can watch it as just a really great, fun action movie and just be like, holy shit, that's awesome. Look at the practical effects on that shit. Look at all that blood. Look how fucked up he's getting.
Or you can watch it like we did last night and dissect it. There is no scene, like you said before with the elevator scene where he says, life in the big city. There is no scene in this movie that isn't there for a reason, that doesn't set the tone, either set the tone, give character depth. It doesn't have a purpose. There is no scene. No scene that is just
there's
fodder.
no filler at all.
This thing is airtight, and this is badass.
Yeah, and even something that you could possibly argue is filler because it technically is filler is the news reports and the ads
adverts,
and stuff for that.
No way, man.
But they are so important.
important.
They set the tone so well, and they give you a really good perspective of the world that we're living in. Because that's funny. Like, I don't think it's. I mean, it's future, but it's not really the future, is it?
No, it's future, but and that's what I love about it.
Because it doesn't give us a year or anything, does it?
No, not at all. And you just see, with the adverts and with the news and all of that stuff, it's just very, very subtle differences.
And that's it. And the little glimpses that we're obviously not in this time. It's obviously not 1987.
No.
But it could be anything between 95 to 2010.
Yeah.
Except when you're in old Detroit where it's clearly stuck in 1987.
Yeah. And I love that. I love the little things like New Detroit, all that. Oh, we're going to be a New Detroit on Old Detroit, and it's going to be amazing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That stuff has happened.
And like the idea that,
now.
I think when he comes in first and he says, I've just transferred from like Metro 1 or something. That kind of stuff where it's like, it's they've obviously built these civilizations or these cities. They've built them on top of failing cities, and it's already a successful model.
Yeah.
So it's like Detroit's like one of the last ones still remaining, and because it's just like, well, it's like cleaning the rats out before they can build on it.
So
like,
good. Even the coke scene with him just lathing it up with those two girls.
Oh man,
doing so much coke. That's so 80s.
Yeah.
But it's so worth it being in there just to see, because you kind of like, is it Miguel? Is that his name?
Miguel Ferrer. Yeah. Ferrer, I think is how you pronounce his name. But he's a great actor. I love him.
He's so good. But yeah, you see him kind of. You're kind of on his side, and yet because of the way he treats the cops, you're kind of not on his side. So you don't really know where he sits.
He's a great character, man. Because
so good. And then he's demised. You're like, no, the father of RoboCop.
You actually feel a little bit sad for him in this film,
do.
because he just seems like he's just a victim of that 80s greed, like that 80s need
corporate
for corporate excess.
Yeah.
Like he just wants to bang hookers and snort coke and have the money to do it.
And who the fuck doesn't want to do that?
And let's be real.
Let's be very honest.
We're all
humans. We're all humans. Okay, we're all blood animals. At one point,
that at some point we're gonna want to have some coke and maybe have sex with a prostitute.
Is that wrong? Is that wrong?
I think it is wrong. Actually,
it's not
it might
really
be illegal.
I
think both of those things are highly illegal.
But well, god damn it!
I love how in his house though, the way they represented just how rich he is.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a big television.
No,
he has like 14 televisions
of them all around. That was hilarious. That happens actually a lot. That actually happens a lot in this movie.
Yeah.
Like in the boardroom where instead of like a widescreen.
Exactly.
No. We've got 14 or 20 televisions.
CRT televisions all lined up.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that's so good.
Yeah, God, there's so much to fucking talk about in this movie.
Let's talk about one of which I didn't realize. And this is I don't know, hopefully with our generation it's a bit different. The introduction of Lewis.
Oh yeah.
She is a badass female in this, man. She is up there with Sarah Connor. She kicks ass in that first scene, beats the shit out of that guy, and she's awesome all the way through this thing.
I mean, it's kind of pretty revolutionary for the time, really, to introduce this female character that straight off the bat is like, I mean, it kind of sucks that the way that they have to prove that she can handle it with the boys is to make her kind of, kick the shit out of somebody.
The shit out of them.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, But even for back then, it's a very strong statement straight off the bat that this is not going to be a romantic lead.
Exactly.
This is not going to be a weak character. They are going to be equal.
Yes,
and I think it works really well.
And
I like the respect that they have for each other, and I like that straight off the bat he's just like, well done.
Fucking badass.
Handle that shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And remember, Tys, back to episode 3 of Nick Tys and Videotape when we did Cobra, or was that 2? Not the point. It was 2. Do you remember the female lead, the lead henchman in that movie? She was huge and massive, and she did nothing. Do you remember?
Oh, she was like, wasn't she like a nurse or something?
She was muscle
hanging
bound.
out.
She was huge, wasn't she? She was a henchman.
Oh,
do you remember? She was a bodybuilder. Clearly,
yes, and just stood
there and did nothing to him.
Was that Cobra?
Was that Cobra? Or am I thinking of Van Damme? Am I thinking
you are. It was Double Impact.
Double Impact.
Yeah, she's in Double Impact.
Right.
Yeah.
Double Impact. She did nothing. She could have gone up again. There could have been a fight scene between her and Van Damme.
But this is the differences in the films, though, is that in order to create a strong, like, intimidating woman in that, they had to hire basically a WWF fucking female wrestler for it.
Yeah, man.
Whereas in this, they do it with character and they do it with action.
Yeah.
Because Karen Allen is not an intimidating looking person in any way, shape, or form. But within 5 minutes, you believe that she is an extremely capable police officer.
Absolutely.
In the most fucking brutal place.
Town ever, yeah.
Yeah. And just without hesitation, it's just like when they roll up to the foundry.
Oh, she's fine.
It's just like, well, it's your call. What do you want to do? Backup's not going to come. And she just goes, let's do it.
And that's hilarious. In that scene, I'm like, I'm not going in. If that was me,
I'm not going
pass.
in. No way.
Full pass.
Full pass.
Jesus Christ.
Well, we also have hindsight of knowing what happens when you go in there.
Doesn't even matter. In that town, are you kidding me?
Well, this is,
pass.
And
Jesus Christ, pass. Wait for backup. Are you kidding me?
I think
Batman's not coming from anywhere. Jesus Christ.
Could you imagine Batman in this universe?
No.
Great.
Awesome.
Yeah, I like Lewis a lot as a character. I think she's great,
and I love that she's not a romantic lead in the slightest.
No, but like, all they do is play. Apparently, they wanted to write it. I don't know if you might have read it in the trivia as well.
Yeah.
They wanted to write. Even Verhoeven was like, "Let's write a sex scene for him," and got the writers to do it. And for between Lewis and Murphy.
Oh, right.
And then got the scene, read it, and went, no way, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
And so they didn't put it in.
Awesome.
So it was on the cards that it was potentially they might want to try and do it. But I'm so glad they didn't.
Oh, thank God.
Because you get, like, I think there's some really lovely moments.
Where would you
like
put that fucking scene?
Well, there's no time for it. I don't know when they would fucking...
And that's the other thing.
She's going to have sex with the RoboCop?
He gets killed his first day on the job in that town, Tys.
Yeah, it didn't take long.
First day.
Didn't take long.
A couple of hours in.
I mean, they set it up really well.
God.
In knowing that this is the kind of world they're living in, like the way that it's like they're talking about Clarence Boddicker killing 35 police officers, and he's like a world-renowned cop killer, and it's dangerous for these police officers. They're talking about striking, they're not getting what they need.
Even going in with that first scene when they are talking about striking and just taking another name off.
Yeah, exactly.
And him putting it in the box and going, you know, it'll be same as always if you want to give donations to the family and all that stuff. And you're like, fuck, how many times has this happened?
And that's it. You know that it's a very common occurrence.
Yeah. So good.
It's super effective. Hang on, what was I going to say? I think Lewis does some of Lewis. I think Lewis almost. She doesn't serve as great a purpose as the film goes on. I don't think.
No.
I kind of don't need her in the finale, to be honest.
But I like her there.
I like her a lot in the scene where they're at the foundry already, and she helps him take his helmet off and helps him focus his eyesight again.
Yeah.
I think that stuff's really great. I think in the final throwdown, having said that, I really like that she's around to blow up.
Clarence, I got him! Boom! And just explodes.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's good. And you know what I love? I love watching these 80s movies because every explosion is fucking real.
Yeah, it's so
Everyone
huge as well.
is real.
Like, it's the most over-the-top explosion. Maybe it's just the way I just don't like the way she delivers that line.
I got him!
No.
I'm a mess.
Yeah, that's it. I'm a mess,
Murphy, I'm a mess. They'll fix you. They fix everything.
Yeah.
And he lifts off the bar.
Oh, I love that moment where he just screams to lift the beam off.
I love the scream when he gets the pole into his chest, because that doesn't hurt him. He doesn't feel pain, but why is he screaming?
No, he must feel pain.
No, he doesn't feel pain. This is a cyborg, man.
No, because when they were all shooting him up, it's so traumatic for him, and so
no, that's just memories coming back of what happened.
He must. I think he does.
Yeah, that's a thing. And how fucking good is this movie? You don't know if he does or not.
I think he must feel pain.
You reckon?
Yeah.
I love it. I love that it's you don't know.
Maybe he feels more pain as he allows Murphy back into his subconscious again.
Yeah. Fuck, is good.
Yeah. There's so much to talk about that we just got to keep moving.
I want to bring up Ed 209, please.
Oh, the Ed 209?
Yeah, I want to bring that up. That is hands down one of my even as a kid, Ed 209 was my preferred favourite than RoboCop.
Sure.
He was so big and badass and so
he made
dumb
animal
and
noises?
stupid.
Because he growls?
Yes. No, it's because of you have 20 seconds to comply. It's that bit.
No, I like that.
Jesus Christ. I love him. I love him so much. And fair enough, I was watching it on DVD, and that's understandable. I will be getting the Blu-ray. But how did the stop motion hold up for you? Was it okay? Was it still alright?
I'm always happy to watch stop motion. I don't give a fuck. Like, cause you can see that it's stop motion.
Yeah, you can see that he's in another scene. Like he's.
But that's fine. It's like
it works.
It's just I don't feel. No, that's not true because I do feel the threat of it.
Yeah,
because the bit where he goes to shoot him and RoboCop grabs his arm and then just points it away from him so he can get away from it.
Yeah.
That's really effective. Like, that's a really great moment.
Yeah.
Sure, when he falls down the steps, it's kind of silly.
It's awesome.
And he starts kind of squealing like a pig and stuff. And, like, it looks a bit silly, but at the same time, I kind of think it's commenting on... I think it's meant to be that silly.
It is. It's meant to be because robots, that's where, at the time, and still they've only just overcome steps.
Yeah. I love it that it's like this multi-million-dollar project that it's like we're going to send it out to wars. It's going to be the most important military contract in the world, and the thing can't fucking walk down steps.
Exactly.
Like it's
the fun
so
part.
funny. Like it's just so ridiculous.
And he squeals. I love that he squeals.
And there's something I don't know. I might be overthinking, but I think there's something in there about how it's this big, huge brute of a thing, yet it's so easily overcome by the smallest thing.
Yeah.
So it's that whole thing. It's like the smaller, like. RoboCop is the sleeker, smaller option, and he's actually the better option because you forget about the things that it's the fucking lion with the fucking thorn in his paw story, basically in robot form.
Yeah, that's so true.
So stuff like that.
I remember
like
that story.
Yeah, that's a good story.
Good story.
Anyway, I do like it. I think it works, man. I think it's not fooling anybody. It's clearly motion capture most of the time.
Absolutely.
Every time it moves.
Yeah. And it's a model when they have to touch it and come up to it in the boardroom, and that's fine.
But it's fine.
In saying that, the reason I want to talk about it, even though we've already is that it opens up to how violent this movie is. That's where
you
first see...
moment. Yeah, it's that first moment of just, whoa.
Mr. Kenny just gets blown away.
The fuck away.
Like, he dies. And I remember in the cut that you watched, because Tyson watched the director's cut and I forgot to, there's a shot of him, he has landed on the table and Ed 209 is still
just pumping away.
Pumping him full of bullets. Man, that's intense.
It is intense. And it's funny because as a kid... I wouldn't have paid any attention.
No.
But straight after that is the first instance of really kind of understanding the tone that this movie is trying to set is that you get the old boss. What's his name? I can't remember.
Damn it.
The old man. They just call him the old man all the time. He says, "Dick, I'm very disappointed." And it's like...
Really?
You're like, that is not the reaction that any sane person would have to what they've just witnessed.
No, seriously.
But
like, what the hell?
There
Are
it
you
is.
kidding me?
And so now we're kind of like, all right, here we are.
I do like the panic, though. Like, don't touch him! Don't touch him! I love that bit.
But it's funny how people feel like that they could save... It must be further in the future because, like, even the way they're treating Peter Weller, like...
Yeah.
When...
oh, yeah, he's totally dead.
He's totally dead, yet they still go through all the rigmarole of trying to save his life. And it's like, you guys know, like, He's
missing an arm.
He's missing an arm.
And he
got shot in the brain.
So much blood.
Like, he got shot like a bunch of times. I don't know what you guys think you're going to be able to do here.
Look, we're going to make his face live. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. Peter Weller, on the other hand, Jesus Christ.
Peter Weller is incredible. He's so good.
So good.
I love him. I love him in the opening sequences because I also noticed this time just how much more animated his original Murphy is. He's a bit of a joker. Like he's a bit of a kind of a funny guy. He's got a bit of spunk about him.
The smiling at certain scenes when he's getting the coffee, and then when he sees Lewis beat up the guy, like he's a fun guy.
Yeah. And I could have sworn, like before I watched it, recently that I
thought he was a straight-laced dude.
You'd think he'd be pretty straight-laced, yeah. Because I mean, you're obviously so used to the progression of the film and knowing that he spends 3/4 of the film as a robot, you forget that he actually, he does put a lot of really nice heart into the opening scenes, and it makes it even more kind of tragic, I think.
And that's all him. RoboCop, there's no robot part of that. That is all
him in a suit.
Him moving those movements. They're all him.
Yeah.
And that's a testament to how good he is. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Even when, like, he takes the mask off and you see the reveal of the makeup on this, by the way, is just intense. That scene still stands up. Like, it looks like his face is coming over that.
I don't understand how they do
that.
it. I don't understand how they do it. It's obviously that they've got, at some point they build fake skin into the mask, but I can't see that moment. Like, in
the only thing that I can see that it's a prosthetic.
Oh, it's kind of rubbery around the neck.
His throat. You can see his Adam's apple moving, and I'm like, oh, okay. If you don't look at that, the whole thing looks intense.
Yeah.
But it's just the emoting as RoboCop, because he's finding out that he was a human. All of that stuff.
Well, I just love the way that
this movie is layered, man.
Yeah, super. Like, it's got heaps of shit going on. I love the way he just allows certain elements of Murphy to creep back in ever so slowly. Like, it's so gradual that you don't even realize that at the end of the film, when he turns around and gives that cheeky smile and says, Murphy, that you don't even realize how gradual the transition has been from him at the beginning as a RoboCop, where he was completely just nothing, to then, because it's just been slow and steady the whole way. He's so good in it, so good.
And the one scene that is the testament to me, and it's the scene that I used to fast forward as a kid, was the scene where he goes back to the house. And that house scene for me, when he goes through it, and you get that nice futuristic feel where the real estate agent is actually just a screen that comes up and tells you a little bit about the house and stuff like that. And you see him go through the motions of this is where this happened, and these memories are coming back slowly.
Yeah.
And watching it now, that's such a great scene.
It is. It's really
sad. Just all him going through that shit and just losing all of it.
Well, but what I wrote down today though is because there's a shot towards the end of it where it just kind of backs away for a second and lets you just kind of look at him in the room.
In the room, yeah.
And it made me realize that it's absolutely ludicrous what we're watching right now. Like, we're watching a robot cop
in a house. Yeah.
A robot cop in a house crying about his dead family. Like,
and it's all believable.
Ludicrous.
This thing is 100% all there.
We are so on board.
Yeah.
They have managed to make us empathize with with Robot Cop. Like, do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
this
movie
really is dumb.
And that's why so many studios passed it up, because it was called RoboCop.
Yeah, but that's part of the satire as well.
Amazing.
Like, that's
Come
what people
on.
like nowadays. We forget because we hear RoboCop and we think, fuck yeah, RoboCop. I equate it to something similar.
Yeah,
is when I first saw the trailer for Starship Troopers in a cinema.
Yep,
I remember exactly. It was attached to The Matrix.
Oh, okay. Damn you. Well done.
Was it attached to The Matrix?
Oh. He's going to use his mind palace and see.
I'm just going to double check what year it came out, because that might not add up. But
that sounds about right.
Yeah, I feel like
I was at the video store when Starship came out. I remember the.
No, that doesn't add up at all.
No.
I wonder. Oh no, I was seeing
97.
I was seeing
Face Off.
No, I was seeing Dark City.
Oh, that's why. That's why you think it's. Really? Didn't they come out the same year?
Oh, no. Maybe it wasn't.
No, they came out the same year. That's why
Dark City was the year later.
Oh, was it?
But maybe we didn't get Starship Troopers till after Dark City.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of... Anyway, and the person I saw whatever movie this was with, I can't even remember now.
Dark City, by the way.
Fucking great.
Dude.
Yeah, the person I was seeing this movie, whatever it is, and one day I'll remember it, and I'll...
We're going to get back to you.
We'll get back to you on that.
We'll get back to you.
We were watching the whole trailer, and the title popped up, and she laughed.
Starship Troopers.
Yeah,
right.
Because it's a dumb as fuck title.
Yeah, man.
Starship Troopers. There was legitimate cackle in the audience.
Would you like to know more?
Because people were like, "This is a piece of shit." So
this is you saw directed by Paul Verhoeven and went, "Fuck yes, I am in."
I can't wait. So this is what would have happened, man. People would have gone to the cinema and seen a trailer for a movie called RoboCop and giggled, like legitimately, like that's the dumbest idea for a movie I've ever seen. And it is on paper, it really is. But that's the strength of the film, is because like in that moment, I was actually aware of the stupidness of the concept while he was sitting in that his old living room, crying and like just this big clunky robot man.
Yeah.
But fuck me if it doesn't win me over,
It
man.
works, man. It's
100%.
it's the colour in that thing as well. Like, with all the whites and him being like he's the colour of like an old 80s car. Like that silver that kind of
I know what you
glows
mean.
blue.
The DeLorean.
Yeah, DeLorean.
He's got a DeLorean look about it.
Exactly. He looks like a fucking DeLorean.
It is like it's
so
a great
true.
suit, but at the same time it's a silly suit. And that's what I think is
I prefer. We're going to bring this up eventually, but I prefer this over anything that the fucking remake gives us. That thing is a slim piece of shit.
The remake just missed the point, but we'll get there.
We'll get there. But I love the bulky suit, man.
I want to talk
like a big punch to the.
Well, I mean, it has.
Sorry.
Yeah, it has such like it has weight to it. Like you feel the weight of it. But I think that's partly mostly Weller's performance. That does that because
true.
I mean I know it was a heavy suit and he was sweating a lot, but at the same time, it's not a robot.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's doing a lot of that work as well.
Yeah. What were you going to say?
Well, I just want to talk about Verhoeven a bit more,
dude.
Because even aside from all the political subtext and all that kind of stuff that he managed to put in this, and the way that he could tell people, I want to put in these news reports, I want to put in these commercials, I want to do all this stuff.
Who's going for that?
I can't believe anyone sits there and goes, yeah, okay, you can put that in our trashy action sci-fi movie called RoboCop.
Yeah.
Like, sure, but he gets away. Like, I don't know how he got away with this. It's
Totally
amazing because you look back at now, and that's just there's such great moments, and the like the news reports that just give us enough world building to see that we're living in a really interesting time.
But folding into one another, the fact that a third world country gets nuclear weapons, and then we go into nuke them, get them before they get you, and you're like, that is fucking genius. What you just watched, you know,
and not even that much of a stretch.
No,
like
no.
I played Battleship. How is it not just Battleship?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just an extension of that. I even had Computer Battleship, which is essentially what Nukem was. You put in the coordinates and it goes. You missed.
You missed it.
Stuff that was great.
I always wanted Computer Battleship.
It's fucking pretty cool.
Damn it.
Pretty cool.
If anyone has Computer Battleship, I'll give it to you. Give it to me.
Yeah. So, but even just as a director, I was reading that, and I was while I was watching it, it's. Obviously we always watch movies differently when we're about to talk about them.
Yeah.
And that's, I think that's a good thing because I think it forces me to watch a movie in two ways. Like, this is a movie I've always enjoyed and always been aware of the other stuff that's happening, but I was really conscious of it this time because I wanted to make sure that it was on board.
Yeah.
His directorial style in this is so effective. Like, it is always, it's really busy, but not in a distracting way.
Yeah.
It's kind of strange. Like, he picks really strange angles that come out of nowhere. Like, there's one little bit where RoboCop is just sitting on the chair and he films it from his foot.
Oh yeah, I remember that
for a second.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, okay, cool. The whole sequence of Murphy when he's being operated on, and the clashing of sounds, the clashing of the home life while the ambulance noises are still all happening, and the POV of the memories, and just that cutting back to that really awful kind of shot of him, just his dead eyes, and the way the camera moves around the cage when RoboCop first gets in there. There's really great tracking shots in this that I've never really noticed before. The first time in the police station, it's a big, really energized tracking. The camera's always on the move.
Yep.
I really dug it that he's tried to really energize the film with his camera work as well, which I think is very cool.
Man.
But it does.
Gives you location. Like, you feel like you've been in that fucking police station for years. And you even know kind of where they are in the police station when they put RoboCop because of the tracking shots.
It's really effective. It sets up the space really well.
Really does.
And then he allows little moments just to sit. Like, I actually have never laughed more this time than I did previously to this time when he arrives at the hostage situation with the mayor.
Oh, yeah.
And you know shit's going down.
Yeah.
And then you just see his car stroll up and it just drives straight through the police tape without stopping.
Yeah.
And just kind of...
Yeah.
And I giggled, legitimately giggled.
Really?
And it's the first time I've really noticed how he does all this action movie stuff, and it's all excitement, and here we go, we're panning around here and panning around here.
Yeah.
But when he wants to sell a gag, and there's some great gags in this, he just lets it sit there.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is funny. Did you see that? Just watch that. That's really funny.
Yeah. My favorite shots or scene that he set up was and it's absolutely done on purpose. The two thugs attacking the woman, and then RoboCop rocks up and you see his shadow first.
Yeah, it's great.
And then the shot of him, it's all up because you're making RoboCop being larger than life massive.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
I love all of that.
Yeah.
And it's the sounds. The sounds of this movie make it. From his footsteps to his movement to Ed 209's movement.
The sound design is really great in this, actually.
So boss, man.
They make gunshots feel full on
and
again.
And that gun, shit.
His
that was
gun
my
is so
favorite
great.
gun
It's
of
one
my
of those,
childhood forever.
Right.
It was either that or the minigun of Blaine's in Predator.
They are good guns.
They are good guns.
Not that I'm supporting that in any way, shape, or form. I hate guns in all way.
It's one of those
things. As a kid, you're just like, man, I would have done a mad dress up as RoboCop, and
and it would have looked shit.
It would have looked terrible,
like a boss.
but I would have loved every second of it. A cardboard covered in fucking tinfoil. All right, well,
I love this thing.
I love this thing so much. What else have I got to talk about? I actually think that I forgot that it cuts straight from him dying on the table to the next. So he dies on the table in POV.
Yep.
We go to black.
Oh, and
the
then
next
it goes
shot
to
is
RoboCop.
him waking up as RoboCop.
Yeah.
And I think it is one of the most effective kind of uses of time passing I've ever seen. The way it just he turns on for a second, we see what's going on. Yeah. We get those great moments like Bob's
shit, and it just goes
exactly.
off. You're like, that is
and
beautiful.
I love the nurse who I think has a crush on him. Yeah. Because she's been around for so long, and I think she just empathizes with him so much, and the way she kisses on him, kisses his thing on New Year's, because it's like,
and then she falls
sweet.
on her ass, and everyone laughs, and then it cuts it at such a perfect spot.
Yeah,
so good.
And Bob, the whole conversation about the arm, it's like, we could save the arm, and he's like, well, we don't need the fucking arm. What are you talking about? And I love his friend. I don't know who his name, but the other associate, the black guy, that kind of is a bit silly.
He's the only one in RoboCop 2. That kind of knows RoboCop, and I was like,
But the way he kind of, like, they're talking about the, this special kind of mixture that he eats, and he's like, ooh, it tastes like baby food. Yeah. And he's the one that gives the thumbs up at the end. He gives the thumbs up when they shoot the shit out of Dick.
A-okay.
he just goes, yeah, RoboCop.
Was it Johnson?
I think it is Johnson.
Jesus, that's terrible.
And Johnson's just standing there, and he goes, "Oh well, he's dead now. He signed the waiver. You can do whatever the hell you want." He's like, "Lose the arm."
So good. No, my favorite is the hot. This is what the entire metal skeleton would look like, and he goes to shake the arm,
that's right.
and both of them just laugh at him.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is fucking genius.
Yeah,
man.
but this is kind of like, it's funny about Bob's character because he's there the whole way, and he just. You kind of end up liking him, don't you? It's really interesting.
Yeah. But
it
then
makes it a good performance.
He's not that great against the police officers, though. Like, he kind of... This is the only bit when watching this time round that didn't really convey for me was he has the dream, he wakes up, he punches out of it, and then he walks off, right? And Lewis goes up and talks to him and says, Murphy, it's you. The guys come down and go, you're in a lot of... You're in a lot of trouble, officer. Why the fuck is she talked to him? Like, who gives a shit? I didn't understand that. That's the only part that I'm like, I still don't get that. Why is she in trouble? Like, seriously, she's not getting...
they treat... I think it's just further kind of evidence of how disrespected the police are generally. Like, they actually... OCP actually just don't want police anymore. They want it to be RoboCops. They want a completely controllable force. That they don't have to pay wages to.
Fair deal.
They don't have to do anything like that. They don't want people fighting back. They don't want people having an opinion who are upholding the law.
Yeah.
So I think it's just disdain for them. And look, I'm not saying Bob's a nice guy. He's an awful human being.
Yeah.
But he somehow ends up being slightly sympathetic, I think, across the course of the movie, which I think is a good performance.
Full-on death scene, man. That's fucked up.
Yeah, it is a pretty full-on death scene.
I love it, though.
I love that he almost gets the grenade and it just rolls out of his hand at the last second and then he goes...
So perfect. So perfect.
We should, though, because we have not really mentioned him. We need to talk about Clarence Boddicker. He is one of my all-time favourite villains.
Yeah, man.
He
Absolutely.
Is so good. And it blows my mind that it is the same man that plays Red Foreman. The sweetest, Well, like obviously Red Foreman's kind of terrifying on that 70s show as well, but deep down is a heart of gold.
But he is Clarence Boddicker and will always be Clarence Boddicker.
But I love that it's such an irregular choice. Like, you wouldn't cast someone that looks like that as your most threatening bad guy.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Because he's small. He's almost the smallest.
Skinny and he's balding.
The thin glasses.
The weirdly framed glasses.
He's almost like got that serial killer essence to him.
Well,
like
that's it.
You know.
Yeah, I think, and it's in his eyes, man. It's like he looks like he just does not give a fuck. Like, he doesn't look like he's a physical threat.
No,
but
he's going to torture you.
Just doesn't look like it matters.
No,
like
he doesn't care.
He just fucks shit up, man. And it's an incredible performance. There's two scenes in particular that I think are just like show off how great he is. There's the scene where they roll up at that other drug factory.
Coke factory?
Yeah.
I love that Coke factory.
And when they're sitting there and he's having the conversation with the other drug dealer, and they kind of try to work out a deal, and he's throwing the cash back at them.
So far up your stupid ass.
Yeah, I think he's amazing in that.
He's terrifying in that.
He's terrifying.
He's terrifying. And he's like the other guy opposite side of the table is a bigger presence. He's massive.
Yeah, he's more traditional.
And you are more scared of Clarence.
Yeah.
You're way more scared of Clarence.
And then the second one is when they pull him into the police station and he just spits on the clipboard and says,
"How good is that?
Give me my fucking phone call." It's wonderful. It's so good.
Yeah. That scene was cut out of the TV version. I remember that. I remember that massively.
Such a great
Book
line.
him. He's a cop killer. Ad break. And I was like, man. And then I saw it and I was like, Jesus, that is a lot of blood coming out of him.
It's just a great moment. Actually, and the scene with Dick where he calls him Dick a few times and then calls him Richard at the end and smiles.
Yeah.
Like, it's just he has got some really great dialogue in this, and the performance I think is just cannot be spoken above enough about how great it is.
You hit it spot
how
on the
threatening
mark.
it
Like
is.
he is one of the best and one of the most memorable.
Yeah.
It's fine to be a villain like let's say LaBouffe from Casino Royale, bleeding from the eye and all of that stuff.
Sure.
Or, it's memorable, yes, but Clarence Boddicker brought something else to that role that made him more menacing.
I was
scary.
always legitimately scared of him, but also intrigued by him.
Yeah.
Like, even as a kid, I was like, oh, this guy's fucking crazy.
And it was from, do you know what it's from? Can You Fly, buddy?
Oh, that's it. As soon as it starts.
As soon as it's that. You burnt the money! You burnt the fucking money! Oh, Jesus. I want to watch RoboCop.
Do you know what I want to watch? I want to watch RoboCop. All right, is there anything else I want to talk about before
I need to ask a question.
Sure.
Can I ask a question?
Of course you can.
What is the premise of the TV show I'd Buy That for $1? What is the premise of this fucking show? Well, I understand that there's cake and tits, and that's great, right next to coke and hookers, but what is the fucking... Like, I understand the point, and I understand what Verhoeven's trying to put across, but as a TV
it's obviously
show,
that television has devolved so much that it's
that
basically...
you don't care.
He represents it at the start as well, because even the news reports only go for 3 minutes, like he says at the start. For the next 3 minutes, we're giving you all the news, and I'm like... And it's something we've noticed, is like, if you notice, remember when certain news stations used to do... It used to be an hour.
Yeah.
And it used to be prime time, and then all of a sudden we started moving to like the half an hour spot at 5 p.m. and stuff like that, because we can't fuck up our Who Wants to Be a Millionaire viewers,
or fucking Simpsons, for crying out loud.
Exactly. So I think he's taken that and run with it. So
true.
I actually don't think it has a plot. I think it is literally a Benny Hill-esque guy, hornbag, who basically just sits there with busty girls on either side of him, giggling,
getting cake all over
getting
him.
cake and whipped cream, and then he accidentally falls into
every
them.
Every guy who's watching this show laughs when he says, "I buy that for $1." I don't get what's happening. I'm like, I don't get why it's funny, but I guess it's funny.
I don't think we're meant to get why it's funny.
But still, if you were to say to me on the street, "I'd buy that for $1," I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's ingrained into my head. Ingrained into my head.
With RoboCop, seriously.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's what because I'm going to bring it up. That's what the remake was missing. It was missing.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the remake.
I'd buy that for $1.
It had something similar to it, I believe.
Did it? What? Fuck off. No, it didn't. No.
It did have... I mean, they tried to use...
They didn't do any newsreels or game shows or anything like that.
No. I think they had some commercials and stuff, I think, in it.
I don't need to watch this again. Don't make me watch this again.
Why do I think they'd... Or maybe it was just the Samuel L. Jackson stuff.
Or maybe it was. There was some stuff with him.
He did some, like, not news reports, but he did, like, some television show-esque stuff.
Yeah, showing off RoboCop.
was that all it was? I feel like he did other stuff as well.
How sad was it? Were you even pumped in the slightest for this thing?
Look, I wasn't going to dismiss it outright. I did not see anything in the trailers that gave me any confidence.
Okay.
But I tried not to dismiss it outright because I wanted to kind of like it. I thought...
Exactly.
I thought, hey, you know
give
what?
Give it a shot, man. If anything can be remade... You know, sure, it's not going to touch the original, but hey.
And look, we'll always have the original. Exactly. And if you want to take certain parts of the original and try and make an updated version of that, go for it. But it focused so strongly on this idea of just... and look, this is something that is definitely on the mind of the original RoboCop, and it's that whole idea of where do you find humanity? You know, is it... You know, if it's taken away from you, how do you get it back?
Yeah.
And can an inanimate object or a machine that was once able to feel emotions, how can it regain its humanity again?
Yeah.
And look, that's in this movie, of course.
Yeah.
It's not its prime focus at all. I think it's an interesting part of it, but it's I think he's far more interested in the social commentary in the movie.
Yeah.
This is the movie that is all about that.
Yes.
It's all about taking it so seriously.
And you can't, because
hated every second of it.
RoboCop, you can't take it that seriously. You can't, and that's why
I think it had effective moments in it. I think the moment where I think it was a kind of wise choice to have him keep a certain amount of his memories.
And there was more of his body. The arm, they kept the arm.
Well, he had an arm and his head. That was basically all they had.
That's right.
And there's a really effective scene where
you just see
he
him
says,
just
okay,
as a head
you've
of
got to
an arm.
remember you're not who you are anymore.
Yeah.
And he's struggling to comprehend that. So the guy says, look at this. This is all you are.
Yeah.
And that's pretty intense.
That was good. But that was it.
But that's pretty much it. The way that he does die is it's so neutered.
Yeah.
Like it's a car bomb.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like the whole point of this movie is the brutal way that he was murdered, because it plays into so much of the rest of the film. Like that whole the way he has the nightmare, and the way that basically the people that are meant to protect us end up doing something very similar to RoboCop in that huge shootout scene.
Hang on a minute. Let's put a pin just there.
Sure.
How intense is that fucking scene?
It is. It's
full
terrifying
on as a kid.
That's why I think he can feel pain. I don't know if it's just that he's having memory flashbacks to when it happened previously.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about the scene where the police force starts shooting.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's
the way he's writhing in pain on the ground while it happens makes me think that he can feel pain.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe it's just kind of... Maybe it's just sadness. Maybe it's just kind of like, because he's at that point.
Just mechanics. I thought it was because of the Ed 209 fight. I thought he couldn't move as fast, and that's why he was trying to get away.
Sure.
But I love that scene. Fuck, I love that scene.
Well, so that stuff is really important. So taking it away and making it a car bomb accident is so it's just so
pathetic,
empty.
It's
a
shell of a death.
It is. It's quick and painless, really, and like. And the point was, he felt every second of this.
A fucking crucifixion, like a crucifixion, man. Full on.
And I also hated the finale to it. I hated the finale.
I can't believe you remember this much of it. I don't remember this
spoilers
much.
for fucking RoboCop 2014. But the thing comes up with his directives again, which is...
uphold the law.
And you can't fuck with anyone from OCP.
Yeah.
But instead of the great clever way that they do it in this, where he fires him, his objective thing just goes, it's not a thing anymore, and he shoots the fuck out of him. In this, he just magically wills himself to override it. And it made me so frustrated, because I'm like, you are missing the point of this movie 100%. Because you're making it.
Cast, though.
Oh well, sure.
Gary Oldman, Michael Keaton. I love the guy who plays RoboCop.
Yeah, Joel Kimmerman.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah, look, there is some stuff in it. I think some of the action sequences when they're testing him out and showing what he's capable of, it's pretty interesting. It's pretty exciting.
One of my favourite things, which I thought they can't fuck this up. If they're going to fuck up something, sure, that's fine, but they can't fuck up his holster. That was my favourite thing.
Sure.
They fucked it.
They did fuck it.
They did. They fucked it.
They fucked it good. Yeah. Well, I mean,
just
little touches like the little kind of the great touch that he still spins the gun and stuff like that. Like,
come on,
they're just such beautiful little moments, and it just seems like you take it for granted. And it's when you see a remake that fucks it. And I don't know what the deal is with remaking Verhoeven and why people think that it's a good idea, because the same thing happened with Total Recall.
You're not going to do it, yeah. And that wasn't even coming close to what fucking Total Recall is about.
God.
I got dragged to see that as a mysterious screening at the cinema, Tyson. Oh Jesus! I tuned out. I started playing. The only one time I started playing with my phone in the cinema, and I hated the fact that I was doing it. My friend turned to me and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "You're right. What am I doing?" And I fucking left. I left. I'm not watching fucking Total Recall at the remake at the cinema.
Yeah, look, that was no good, and that unfortunately did the same thing. And it's this idea that we'll take the source material or we'll take the original and we will make it more truthful.
Yeah.
To like. I don't want to say gritty, but like for the Total Recall, they wanted to be more true to the short story.
Yeah.
But what they're not realizing is that as soon as you make if you're remaking Total Recall, you've got to understand that it used the short story, but it was mostly about things that the film is about that the short story isn't about.
Yeah.
And they forget all that.
And that's just for Hogan
so call
on his
it
own.
The short story. Don't call it a remake of Total Recall. Say that we are, we're changing the title. We're doing something up. But this is the selfishness of these Hollywood remakes, is that they can't do that because then they'd lose the name recognition, and so they're shooting themselves in the foot.
What's the point of that? Like, seriously?
Yeah, it's garbage. Also, I want to speak briefly about the sequels, actually. I don't want to talk anymore about the fucking remake.
No. I've got a hankering for number 2, and we talked about this before off air, is number 2 kind of scared me a little. And I don't know why. I can't put my finger on it, and I think I need to watch it again to realise why. I think as a kid watching Total Recall, he was a good guy. He was a hero. In 2, he gets fucked up.
Sorry, RoboCop.
Yeah. What did I say?
Total Recall.
Sorry. That's not my fault. That fucking movie sucked. But yeah, RoboCop is the hero.
Yep.
So, me and my brother played it. I'm going to be RoboCop and you be Clarence Boddicker.
And
bring it on.
Wicked NES game as well that I used to play all the time.
Yeah. There was one called RoboCop versus Terminator. That was awesome.
Actually, I think it was the RoboCop 2 game that I played. And it was a platform and it was fucking sick.
See?
Anyway.
But yeah, so in number 2, because of not only, I think it was my first experience of drug taking on film.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
And not knowing what that was and how that would fight the drug.
I mean, that's it. I was a kid watching 80s movies, and I was like, "Why is this white powder so important?"
Yeah. Why are they fucking up a factory full of flour? I don't know what's going on.
Like, people need bread. What are you doing, guys? It's really important.
No, I knew it was drugs. I just didn't know what the fuck it was. But yeah, this one kind of scared me because I remember there was a shot where you see they take RoboCop and then pull him apart. So he's just like a torso just moving like this.
Yeah, they do fuck him right up.
That scared the shit out of me, and I thought RoboCop was dead.
There's a scene that legitimately used to creep me out, and it's the reveal of Kane when he goes back to his crew.
Oh, okay.
And he's all robot now.
Yeah.
And because he had like a lawnmower man thing happening with him. He had like a digital display where his face would pop up.
Max Headroom, man, all the way.
And there's a bit where he turns really evil all of a sudden, and he just crushes this girl who was there.
The sidekick or whatever? Yeah, I remember that.
Really... It made all these sounds. It was these sounds that I just was never comfortable with, and it used to scare me.
Fair deal.
But I like RoboCop 2. I don't think it's...
I need to see it again. I haven't seen it since the 90s.
I've watched it maybe within the last 5 or 6 years, maybe.
Yeah.
And it's not the same... It's nowhere near as intelligent as the first one.
Because it's not Verhoeven. It's Ivan Kershner, though.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain it's Ivan Kershner.
Come on.
Or Irving Kershner? Irvin.
Let's just say Empire Strikes Back. Let's say that.
Yeah, I think it's him that directs this, and it's based on Irvin Kershner, and it's based on a Frank Miller story. Frank Miller's a fucking crazy.
Come on.
Yeah, so
John Glover, man, seriously,
it's got moments in it that I really enjoy. I think it's like RoboCop 2 is what RoboCop 1 could have been if it was just a good action sci-fi movie.
Yeah. Without the social satire.
That's RoboCop 2. There's moments of it in there.
That's
and
good.
It's still an effective story.
Yeah, man.
But it's just a bit watered down. And there's the great moment at the end. I love the fight between the two robots at the end. I think it's really great. And then, you two behave. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, fair deal.
I have not ever seen 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fred Dekker, Tys.
Yeah, I know.
Monster Squad director.
Come on. I can't believe I haven't seen it. I think I was always turned off because I heard it went kid friendly.
It did go kid friendly.
Didn't really
but there was
speak to me.
It was not only kid friendly, but it had because of who he fights, it had an Asian flavour to it. So it's almost like if RoboCop was filmed by a director who was primarily directing Japanese or Hong Kong cinema.
It's like it had that a robot samurai in it, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. So you need to kind of step out of the RoboCop world and maybe look at robots fighting robots, and this is where you are coming into it. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
But yes, you are.
Do you recommend it?
No, I do not at all, because I remember even as a kid going, "Fuck, this is shit." Like, even as a kid, I knew this was shit. In saying that, I'm going to watch RoboCop 3. I'm going to watch 2 and 3, and then I'm going to do the Rockies, and then...
That's a busy lineup.
I'm going to be busy for a while.
It is just on streaming, isn't it? 2 and 3.
2 is. I know that for sure.
I think I can watch 2 and 3 on like Stan or something like that. And I would be interested to watch 3 just to see why it has the reputation it has.
I'd like to... I think you should, Tys, to be honest, because of how big a RoboCop fan you are. It is 1993, though, so... It's a sort of an off year for film.
I understand exactly what you're saying.
It's sort of an off year for film, if you know what I'm saying. But
did you ever watch any of the TV series?
It is on Stan. No, I never watched the TV series. Did you give it a shot? No?
I don't remember it. I know that you can. I saw that there was like a DVD set floating around real cheap through like a kind of a smaller distributor. Like you could pick up like all of them for like $8.99 or something. Like every. But,
yeah, man, that's boss.
Yeah, so I'm not interested in that either.
RoboCop. There were 2 TV series, Tyson. 94 to 94, and then 98 to 98.
So they both only had 1 season. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I feel like they might have actually been a series of like short films. Not short films.
Oh, really?
A series of made-for-television like films. So like each season was like 4 little movies, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Kind of like the way like isn't Columbo like that? Isn't Columbo? No.
I have no idea.
What am I thinking of? Fucking who cares?
Let's watch Columbo, people.
I love Columbo.
RoboCop, though.
I reckon that's it.
That
might do it.
God, it was good.
Yeah, I can't say how much I love this movie enough.
Yeah. I would really, and I know that that our listeners out there, I know they've all watched RoboCop. There's no listener out there that doesn't listen to Nick Tys and Videotape.
If you're spending the time listening to a movie podcast, you've seen RoboCop.
Yeah. Exactly. But if by chance there is a person out there who is a little younger than us, who hasn't experienced RoboCop before, I would love to hear what you think of it. I really, really would, because fresh eyes going into this thing, not only is Verhoeven still on the pulse of what's going on socially, but I want to know what you think of RoboCop. What does it still... It has what me and Tyson just talked about conveyed. Like, is that all still there?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know, because so much of why it still lives on, I think, for our generation is the very specific effect it had on us when we first watched it.
Yeah.
And now kids have seen some wild shit since then. Like, you know, fucking Rotten.com was around for a while. Everyone remembers that shit.
And everyone watched 2 Girls, 1 Cup and all that crap.
Exactly. So maybe RoboCop has no kind of effect anymore.
Exactly.
So
it's got to have. Come on,
I feel
really?
like it should. I feel like it should.
Like action films of today. What's the last? I'm not talking Marvel. I'm talking. What's another action film that has come out in the last year that is got that cop versus bad guys element?
What?
Name a film that came out in the past year.
I think a police versus bad. Like there's heaps of that shit floating around. Basically every single half like straight to video thing that Bruce Willis stars in is some kind of cop on the wrong side of the law fucking horseshit.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's more.
There's no.
I don't think there's anything that uses violence the same way.
And
RoboCop
that's where I was going
violence.
at. Like, I want to see if you see. There's no way that you're watching films of today and going, oh yeah, I've seen everything. You put on RoboCop and you see.
Strangely enough, maybe something like Hot Fuzz uses violence in a similar way. Kind of. But it's obviously turning up the comedic value.
Yeah, so is Tarantino to some extent.
Yeah, no, you know what? That's actually a good example. I think like the Candyland Massacre, for instance, in Django, I think
that's
is using violence in a similar fashion.
Yeah,
or
Kill Bill even. Like severing heads and all that stuff.
That's interesting. Yeah, very interesting.
ROBOCOP. Who is he? What is he? Where does he come from?
I think we should. Move on. Well, then I think it's time for what did you watch this week? Yeah, nice.
Nice, I like it.
That was good. That was tight.
All right. That was tight. I finally got time to watch something, Tyson. And it's been sitting in the wings for so fucking long. And I made you watch if anyone's going to enjoy it more than me, it's you.
Okay.
It's Score, the film music documentary.
Yes.
I finally saw it.
Great.
And of course, like most things, I belted up way too much.
Okay, sure.
It was fine.
Yeah.
It was just, but that's the thing, it was just fine.
I feel like it's one of those things, man, when you're trying to cover such a comprehensive topic like that.
Exactly.
It must be so difficult to try and cover everything that you want a film like this to cover.
And they do so well. There were a few things that I wasn't a huge fan of, but all in all, it wasn't about directors talking about composers. No. This was composers on composers.
Oh, cool.
So this was everyone from the guy who did Minions to the guy who did Pitch Perfect and they show you a little bit of what they've done and things like that. Talking about, Danny Elfman and Hans Zimmer,
cool.
and of course the Godfather, which is John Williams. They do all of these things, which is really great, and it goes into just little bits here and there, but it's not their process or anything like that. It's talking about movies without a score wouldn't work.
No,
ever. None of them would work.
Look, there are films that choose not to use scores, and they can be very effective when they make that choice.
Yeah.
But I don't think it can be underestimated just how important the music that you're hearing is to the story that you're watching.
And the best part is you don't realize that it's happening to you while it's happening. These emotions that you're feeling is because of the score.
Yeah. And now that you've brought it up, I can't believe we didn't even mention the score to RoboCop.
The RoboCop, yeah, which was huge.
One of my all-time favorites, Basil Puzzle-Adoris, or however you say his name, who I'm going to figure out how to say his name properly, who composed, obviously, the wonderful, wonderful score to Conan the Barbarian.
Yes. But yeah, in this
Polydorus. Basil Polydorus.
But in this, it goes through why the score is so important to certain films, and films that you don't realize certain films that change the game. So the first Planet of the Apes that changed the game of scoring because
it's a good score.
He used bizarre things
and that theme is intense.
Yeah. And he was using pots and pans instead of drums and things like that. And then there's of course his name eludes me, the guy who did American Beauty, who we've spoken about before, Thomas Newman.
Yeah.
And how he changed the game, and everyone's kind of tried to emulate that single piano style.
He took this kind of simplistic nature and made it all about just a couple of notes, and he found the notes that just these, and he would repeat them and repeat them, and just found a way to make it just tap into your brain.
Yeah, and the difference between something like that and something that is a full orchestra, like your West Side Story or something like that comes to mind, and how that is just so grandiose and just huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just engulfs you. There were nice little bits. Trent Reznor's little bit was really nice because I really liked his in saying, because you don't think of it in the way that they do, and it was nice to hear what they had to say about it, because he talks about how David Fincher came to him and said, I want you to score my movie. And he said, fuck yes. Oh my God, yes.
I mean,
and he goes,
as if you'd say no.
Yeah. And he goes, we're doing the Facebook movie. And he went, wow, how can I back out of this quite quickly? And because of course you're going to do, that's exactly the way that I felt.
Yeah.
My director was doing the Facebook movie. Fuck off.
Sure.
Seriously. But with his score, not only was he putting into perspective how important what was happening, but slowly, and for me, the crumble of almost society as itself, as we all get sucked into social media. So effective.
Yeah.
In that, they got everyone, Tyson. They got everyone to talk on this.
Sure.
Except The Godfather.
No John Williams.
God, which really...
That's hard.
It made me cry, it made me and everyone spoke on him. That was the thing.
Yeah.
Everyone spoke on how the difference from Jaws being 2 notes to Close Encounters to E.T.
Sure.
and them explaining the end of ET and why it was not sad. Because Elliot's friend leaves.
Yeah.
But we succeeded. We got him home. Like, that was a big deal.
Sure.
Fuck, it was good. It was just really good.
I wonder if there is a more, like an actual John Williams documentary.
I think there is just on him.
It would seem...
There would have to be.
There would have to be,
yeah.
I'm not aware of one, so, but I just assume there must be.
Yeah.
So if
there
anyone
is
has
one on
heard one...
Hans Zimmer. There is one just on him. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
I know that, and I'd love to watch that. But
if anyone knows of the John Williams documentary, please send me a link to the IMDb
just put
page
it up
or something.
On Nick Tice, because we both want to see it.
I would absolutely love to see it. Yeah.
But yeah, the score.
Well,
score.
I will definitely check it out because it's something I care about a great deal. So I'd be really interested to hear from some of those people. They're always some of my favourite special features. Hearing the composer talk about the score. So I think that'd be something that I really dig.
Yeah, that's what I watched this week.
I've got nothing for this week. Can't be bothered.
Fair
nothing
deal.
worth talking about.
Fair deal. He watched RoboCop, and that's all he needed to watch.
That's all. I watched RoboCop. Life is good.
Let's get into Crossing the Streams.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let me go first.
Okay, you go first.
Can I go first?
Of course you can.
I'm going to pick something that's a bit bizarre.
Oh, a bit bizarre, you say.
And not a lot of people have seen it.
Okay.
I'm picking the 1983 film, Krull.
All right. Bit of Krull action.
If anyone doesn't know what Krull is, or if you do know what Krull is, you're either going, what the fuck, or yes, Nick, yes, absolutely. So Krull is available. You're going to have to pay for this sucker, which is totally awesome. It is on Google Play, it's on Apple Streaming, and it is on YouTube Red, I believe. Is YouTube Red a thing?
That's the...
You pay for YouTube. Is that what...
Yes, but I think you might still have to then...
I don't know how that works. To be honest, I'm not watching movies on YouTube. If you're watching movies on YouTube, there's something wrong with you. Krull. Krull is a movie that I watched as a kid and have grown to love. I didn't know that everyone else knew about it. It is a sci-fi fantasy on another world which has massive spiders and cyclopses, and where my fear of quicksand came from. It wasn't Princess Bride, it was Krull, because quicksand in itself is slow and it's going to kill you slowly. But yeah, I thought quicksand was a thing. I honestly thought it was a thing. And it is. It's just not that good.
It's just not how it works.
It's just sinkholes. That's all it is. It's just sinkholes. But yeah, Krull's awesome. Krull is a story of a boy prince, I think it is, and he has to save a princess from this massive monster who you never ever see except for the end in bizarre puppetry, which is so awesome. And yeah, it has a very young Liam Neeson in there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, which I remember. And just amazing set pieces, and there's horses that fly, not Pegasus, horses that fly, which are fire mares.
Yeah.
And
all right, great.
There's wizardry and a massive spider, and there's so many things to this movie.
The 80s were the time of the sword and sorcery movie. And
so good.
Like I must say, it's a bit of a gap in my viewing. That kind of era of like, I haven't seen like the Beastmaster movies I haven't seen Sword and the Sorcerer.
No.
Like, I would love to just go back and watch them all because I just have so much fun with the ones that I have seen.
Yeah.
I think that it's a forgotten genre that we just don't get to explore anymore because when we go back into that fantasy genre now, it's kind of this Game of Thrones inspired like seriousness to it all, and some of the fun is gone. Like the fun of it, the silliness, the kind of like just that real kind of camp quality that it has. That,
but Krull was so bizarre on itself because it did have. Almost the bad guys were stormtroopers almost, but there was something living inside their head that when you shot them, it buried itself back into the ground.
Right.
It was bizarre. Not only that, yes, it is a sword and sorcery, so there are axes and swords and things like that. But there are lasers as well.
It's got a future vibe as well to it, doesn't it? It's like Masters of the Universe almost.
So it's all over the shop, man, this thing.
Well, there's usually a great deal of creativity in these movies as well. Like there really is, and it's fun to watch, man. Because like the creature designs are always at least something different. You're kind of like, okay, what are you going to do?
Yeah, man.
It's very old school storytelling, but it's really fun, and fuck, it's got that ninja starry
the glaive,
which is the best fucking weapon.
It was the best weapon. It was so good.
Good choice.
Directed by Peter Yates.
Like
Bullet and
Outland.
Outland. He did Outland. He did Suspect. which I've heard was really good.
There's a couple of decent films in there, I think, in his filmography.
He's done tons.
Oh, that's a good
Krull, man.
Good one. Good
Krull.
suggestion. Good suggestion. Yeah. I still have your DVD of that, by the way.
That's all right. I don't want it back unless you've watched it.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
I will definitely watch it before I return it.
Fair deal.
Well,
what do you got, Tys?
I'm going to recommend a film that's on Stanley. And it's a film that is kind of like a superhero / X-Men-y kind of rip-off to a degree.
Oh, okay.
But a film that I think is a bit better than it gets credit for, and that's Push. Now this Push came out I had the page up and now it's gone.
With Captain America, no less.
Yes. So it came out in 2009. It does star Chris Evans and Dakota Fanning.
Yep.
As
from Man of Fire.
Yeah, Man of Fire's own. It's directed by Paul McQuiggan. I don't know how to say his name properly. Who's had a bit of a mixed career. There was a film called Lucky Number 11, which I believe was released as The Wrong Man in Australia.
Yeah.
Which is not bad, but then he also has, like that Victor Frankenstein movie that came out a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Which apparently is garbage.
Was that the one with Harry?
Yeah, with Harry Potter.
I actually really liked that.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Nice. You'd be the one.
Yeah. Hey, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, hey, no, that's it.
I'm sticking to my guns.
It's not entirely successful. It's obviously cashing in on the success of this X-Men kind of superheroes thing. But it was actually kind of a bit ahead of its time, where now this is where a lot of these stories have gone. It's gone into the kind of like, well, let's imagine what it would be like if it actually happened in reality.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't be like the X-Men. You wouldn't be flying around in jets saving the world. It would be a really complicated process. There would be people that are using it for just criminal gain.
Yep.
There'd be people that were trying to keep it a complete secret and just living their life and trying not to get caught up in it all. And
depending on your power, there'd be people after you.
And that's it.
To abuse you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the fact that, once certain powers would be discovered, the power to perhaps see into the future, it would be of great danger to yourself.
Yes.
I think.
Good movie.
That's kind of the things this movie starts to play around with. It's it's set in a very kind of like over civilized Japan, I believe. Where is it?
Oh, really?
Hong Kong.
Oh, okay.
Where there is an agency that kind of hunt down high-powered mutants, if we call them that, and try to use them for their own personal gain. Chris Evans and Dakota Fanning and Camilla Bell are characters that all share a certain. Or that all have certain levels of superpowers.
Yep.
Some not as powerful as others. Like Chris Evans' powers aren't really that impressive.
No.
But he's a good guy caught in a situation, and so he uses them the best he can.
Yep.
You got I'm terrible at pronouncing his name, Jimon Honsu.
Yep.
Who gives a really kind of great villainous performance. And I like some of the powers. I like the kind of creativity they have in the powers. Like someone's power is suggestion, like that they can basically implant an idea in like Inception style, and you will do it. You have no choice but to do it, which is based on there's an X-Men character that does that as well, isn't it? It's the one from Wolverine Origins, I think, has something similar.
Really?
His wife. Anyway, and there's like, I think Dakota Fanning can kind of sense the future and does drawings and things and sees people's fate basically.
In different ways,
And look, I think it's really a fun, different direction that these movies take. It wasn't particularly reviewed well, which I think is disappointing. I think people were disappointed that because it came at a time when I think superhero movies were a little bit more flamboyant, a little bit more fun, and a bit more kind of free with the ideas, whereas this tries to keep it in grounded in quite a strong reality. And so it's not exactly a really like a fun, rollicking action adventure. It's pretty kind of dour, but I think the characters are really strong, and I think the way it looks at superhero powers in a realistic light, I think, is really effective.
Had this come out now, it would have done so much better.
I think,
because of things like TV shows like Daredevil and Luke Cage and things like that.
Sure, and even something like Chronicle, I think, kind of opened the doors to what
realistic,
like what it could potentially be like in our society, because I don't think it would be anything like the Marvel universe.
No, of course not.
It would be
ridiculous,
pretty fucked up, I think, and I think it would end up being pretty dangerous to be someone like that. And this movie looks a lot of that stuff. If you haven't seen it, it's it's free on Stan. It's not that long.
Give it a watch, man.
Give it a watch, because I think you'll find I've watched it a few times and I quite enjoy it. I think it's worth being seen by more people.
Yeah. I liked it. I liked it when I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's gonna wrap us up, Nicholas.
That's it for this week.
That is it for this week. Why don't you tell people where they can find us one more time?
Yeah, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, if you do want to join in on the festivities, we are on the social media, which is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and you can write to us on there if you want to.
Anything you like. You can send us a meme. I love my memes.
Yeah, he loves his memes. You can chuck us on a trailer. You can give us a recommendation if you want.
I would love recommendations. Give me stuff to watch, people. Tell me. Give me your faves. If I haven't seen them, I'll watch them.
Bring it on. Even if we have watched them, we'll rewatch them. Please. Are you telling me we haven't seen ROBOCOP? We'll do it twice.
Yeah.
But yes, you can join us on there. If you would like to subscribe, share us around, you can do that from wherever you're listening to from this.
Absolutely.
Every platform kind of has that ability.
There's
now.
always an opportunity to do that, and especially on the iTunes podcast app.
Yeah.
If you can just rate those 5 stars straight from in the app now, which would be amazing. And if you're really feeling generous, some kind words on the comment in the review section would be amazing. No, they come in pretty regularly. It's really nice. We've still got some people, kind of giving us a shout out here and there.
That's lovely.
Which we really appreciate. We had a really nice shout out on Facebook this week. Someone just took the time to say they really love what we're doing, and I was very heartwarming. That was a lovely gesture.
That was. But other than that, you can join us on YouTube as well. So we are on YouTube, and also if you would like to write an email, if you have something a little bit more intensive, or maybe
if you'd like to ask a question, we can reopen the mailbag. We're going to do another mailbag special soon. We've got a couple on the backlog that we need to have a look at.
Bring it on. But yes, you can write to us at nicktysonvideotape@gmail.com. Icebell Nick without a K, and Tys is TYS.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Next week, Nicholas.
Ooh.
Next week. This is going to be fun. We're sticking with movies that we know we love. We want to talk about some movies that we love for a little while.
We've gone around the bend for a bit. We need to talk about some good stuff.
Yes, and we're going to legitimately good stuff.
We're going to talk about one that literally raked in all of the Oscars.
It's still the last one to do the Big Five.
The Big Five.
So we're talking about Silence of the Lambs. We are. What an incredible
1990.
I want to say 1991.
Oh, I was going to say 5.
And I'll just double check.
But yes, we're going into one of the all-time greatest female leads, Jodie Foster.
Jodie Foster, obviously incredible performance. Anthony Hopkins, of course. It was 1991.
Oh, nice one.
And the late Jonathan Demme directing as well.
This is going to be intense.
I think it's going to be a really fun conversation. I
haven't seen this in a while.
I haven't actually seen it in a while either. So I think it's going to be really fun to revisit it. Baby. Fun's maybe not the word for this kind of movie, but there's so much going on in this. And yes, it won't be one of our funnier episodes, no doubt. But if you're up for a good chat about, it could be. We could just laugh it off, and
we could have some.
We could have some fun.
Yeah.
But I think it's if this is one of your favourites, please tune in. And if it's not, give it another watch, because I think we're going to have some fun things to say.
Yeah, man. Until next week, Tyson.
Until next week, Nicholas.
It's been fun, buddy.
It has been fun.
Yeah.
We'll see you later, man.
Bye. Bye.